We all have dreams. We all have wishes. We want things. And then, when we get what we want, are we satisfied? Do we want more? When we get more, are we satisfied? Hi, everyone. Today, I'm going to begin by asking you to think about your dreams. Think about what you want most of all in life. Now, think about how you plan to achieve it. Are you willing to work hard and overcome all obstacles in your path to get what you want? The story I have for you is called What's Your Dream? And it was written by Ruskin Bond. I always recommend that students read his books because his writing is simple and easy to understand. At the same time, it is intriguing, and you will find yourself smiling as you go along. Some of Ruskin Bond's famous books are The Blue Umbrella, Time Stops at Shamli, A Flight of Pigeons, Delhi is Not Far, and my all-time favorite, Rusty, The Boy from the Hills. Do read it if you get a chance, and you will understand why it is my favorite. Well, this particular story that we are doing today has a moral. It has a lesson for all of us. I will read and explain it to you, and as I go along, do try and enjoy Ruskin Bond's style of writing. Try to imagine and picture the sequence of events as they flow on. I have written the meanings of some words that may be new to you on each slide. So without much ado, let's begin this simple yet meaningful story. What's Your Dream? By Ruskin Bond. A little about Ruskin Bond before we begin the story. Ruskin Bond lives in Mussoorie, India. His first novel was called The Room on the Roof, and he wrote it when he was 17, only 17 years old. He has received several prizes for his books. The main characters in the story I'm going to do today, you will meet a boy and an old man. We will talk about dreams and lychee trees. And for those who are not familiar with what lychees are, I have a picture for you here. Okay, let's begin. A young boy liked spending time sitting on a tree. He had a dream, but didn't realize that until one day, someone happened to ask him about it. Let us read the story to find out what his dream was. Any guesses? An old man, a beggar bent double, with a flowing white beard and piercing gray eyes, stopped on the road on the other side of the garden wall and looked up at me where I perched on the branch of a lychee tree. So there was a beggar there who could not even stand straight. He was bent and he had a long white beard, flowing means long, and piercing sharp gray eyes, meaning he must have been quite intelligent. And he stopped on the road on the other side of the wall. He didn't enter the young boy's property. He was on the other side of the wall and looked up at the boy who was sitting there on the branch of a lychee tree. "What's your dream?" he asked. It was a startling question coming from that raggedy old man on the street. Even more startling that it should have been made in English. English-speaking beggars were a rarity in those days. "What's your dream?" he repeated. So what happened? That old man who was wearing ragged clothes looked up at the boy and asked him, "What's your dream?" He's asking the boy what his dream is. And the boy was so shocked because no one had ever asked him a question like that. In the first place, it was a strange question for someone to ask. Second place, it was really not the place or the time because he was sitting on a lychee tree enjoying himself. He didn't expect a question like that, and that too coming from a beggar on the street, someone who did not even know him. And thirdly, it was so strange because this beggar was speaking English. And it was very rare to find a beggar who spoke English in those days. Rarity, not common. I don't remember, I said. I don't think I had a dream last night. That's not what I mean. You know it isn't what I mean. I can see you're a dreamer. It's not the lychee season, but you sit in that tree all afternoon dreaming. I just like sitting here, I said. I refused to admit that I was a dreamer. Other boys didn't dream, they had catapults. A dream, my boy, is what you want most in life. Isn't there something that you want more than anything else? So the boy replies to his question and says, I don't remember what dream I had last night. And the beggar tells him, you know very well that that is not what I mean. I am not asking you about a dream you had while you were asleep. I am asking you about your wishes, about the kind of dream you have when you are awake, when you're thinking about something. And the boy said, no, I'm not a dreamer. I don't have dreams. I don't daydream. I just like sitting in a lychee tree. But of course, the man had other ideas. He said, it's not the lychee season. So why would you sit in a lychee tree unless you're a dreamer? Right? Now, the boy did not want to admit that he was a dreamer because other boys did not daydream like him. They roamed around with catapults. It's a V-shaped stick with a rubber band to shoot stones. You must have seen them. So the man goes on to tell him that it's very important to have a dream in life. You should have a wish. Isn't there something that you want more than anything else? He says, now come on, tell me what you want more than anything else. Yes, I said promptly, a room of my own. Ah, a room of your own, a tree of your own. It's the same thing. Not many people can have their own rooms, you know, not in a land as crowded as ours. Just a small room. And what kind of room do you live in at present? So the boy immediately thought of something to say to the man, and he said, yes, I do dream of something. And what do I want most of all in the world right now is my own room. So the man says, now I know what you're thinking about when you sit in that lychee tree. You want your own room, like a tree of your own, like that lychee tree is your own space. You want your own space in your house as well. And not many people in the world can have their own rooms. You know, there are so many homeless people and so many people who have to live together with so many other people because they cannot afford to have their own space. Because our land is very crowded, the world is crowded. And the boy says, I'm not asking for much, just a small room. I just need my own space. So the man asks him, what kind of room do you live in at present? What's wrong with where you're living now? It's a big room, but I have to share it with my brothers and sisters and even my aunt when she visits. I see. What you really want is freedom. Your own tree, your own room, your own small place in the sun. Yes, that's all. That's all? That's everything? When you have all that, you'll have found your dream. So the boy replies to the man and tells him, I do have my own space right now, but it's not private. I have a big room. It's a lovely room. The only problem is that I have to share it with my brothers and sisters. We all live together, all the siblings. And then when my aunt comes to visit, she has to stay in my room too. And that's not what I like. I want my own little room where no one has to be with me. I want freedom. I want privacy. So the man says, now I understand you very well. You want your own space, your own tree, freedom, your place in the sun. And the boy says, yes, that's exactly what I want. So the man says, okay, so when you get that, you would have found your dream, since that's your dream. Tell me how to find it. There's no magic formula, my friend. If I were a godman, would I be wasting my time here with you? You must work for your dream and move towards it all the time and discard all those things that come in the way of finding it. And then, if you don't expect too much too quickly, you'll find your freedom, a room of your own. The difficult time comes afterwards. Afterwards? So, what's happening here? The boy is asking the man, please tell me how to find it. Please tell me how to get what I want, how to get this dream of mine. And the man says, oh, I don't know any magic. If I were a godman, I wouldn't be here talking with you. So if you have a dream, all you need to do is work towards getting it. Anything comes in the way of your dream, push it aside, right? And don't expect things to happen very fast. Go slow, but work towards it. It's only hard work that will get you to your dream. And then you will find your freedom. You'll get what you want. Your dream will come true, a room of your own in this case. The difficult time comes afterwards, he says. You know, with freedom comes responsibility. So you can have your freedom, but if you are not responsible enough to know how to use that freedom wisely, you have problems. So you might work towards your freedom and get it, but you should know how to use it wisely as well. Yes, because it's so easy to lose it all, to let someone take it away from you. Or you become greedy or careless and start taking everything for granted. And poof, suddenly the dream has gone, vanished. How do you know all this? I asked. Because I had my dream and lost it. Did you lose everything? So now the man is giving the boy some wisdom. He says, be very careful once you get your dream, once you have your freedom, because it is very easy to lose what you get. You know, someone might take it away from you. People are waiting to take advantage of you and grab what you've got. Or you might become greedy and keep wanting more and lose what you have in the bargain. Or you might become careless and let it slip away from you. You might start taking everything for granted, and then suddenly the dream that you had will vanish. So how does the man have so much wisdom? Because he has experienced it. He had a dream. He was careless, greedy, whatever the reason was, and he lost it. Now the boy wants to ask him, did you lose everything? Yes. Just look at me now, my friend. He says, what do you think? Do you think I lost everything, or do you think I still have part of my dream? If I had part of it, I wouldn't be a beggar, would I? Do I look like a king or a godman? I had everything I wanted, but then I wanted more and more. You get your room, and then you want a building. And when you have your building, you want your own territory. And when you have your own territory, you want your own kingdom. And all the time it's getting harder to keep everything. And when you lose it, in the end, all kingdoms are lost. You don't even have your room anymore. So he's giving the boy an example. He says, I've experienced it. See my state right now. See my condition. I had everything I wanted, but I became greedy. That was his fault. Greed. He said, I had what I wanted, but then I was not satisfied. I wanted more and more and more and more. And finally, I lost track of what it was I wanted in the beginning. And I lost everything, every single thing. And now I'm a beggar on the streets. Do you have a kingdom? Something like that. Follow your own dream, boy, but don't take other people's dreams. Don't stand in anyone's way. Don't take from another man his room or his faith or his song. And he turned and shuffled away, uttering in the following verse, which I have never heard elsewhere, so it must have been his own. Live long, my friend, be wise and strong, but do not take from any man his song. So the man has learnt his lesson, of course, but he had to pay a price, a very heavy price. So he's telling the boy, follow your dream. There's no harm in doing that. Get your dream, work towards it. Make sure you get your dream. Let your dream come true. But in the bargain, don't grab things from anyone else. Very often when people want to climb to the top, they step on others along the way. They don't like to see anyone else climbing to the top with them. It's like some kind of competition. So they want their dream, but they don't want others to have their dream. So they get in everyone else's way. So he's telling the boy, please don't do that. Get your dream, work towards your dream. Don't ever destroy someone else's dream. Okay? Don't take from any man his song. I remained on the lychee tree, pondering his wisdom and wondering how a man so wise could be so poor. Perhaps he became wise afterwards. Anyway, he was free and I was free, and I went back to the house and demanded and got a room of my own. Freedom, I was beginning to realize, is something you have to insist upon. So the boy stayed on the lychee tree after the man had left and kept thinking about what the man had said to him and wondered how he could have lost everything when he was actually so wise. So, my friends, you need to be careful, because even if you consider yourself very wise and intelligent, the world can be quite horrible. And if you are not careful, you may not even realize your dream. So be very careful, work towards your dream, don't get in anyone else's way. And when you achieve your dream, what you wanted so badly, don't get greedy. Be satisfied with what you have. Be happy. Enjoy life. Life is short. So the boy says, maybe the man became wise after he lost everything. Maybe he was never wise from the beginning. Anyway, he was free and I was free. And the boy went back to the house and he made sure he asked for what he wanted. He said, I need a room of my own. And he got one. And then he realized one very important thing in life, that if you want something, you have to ask for it. If you want freedom, you have to ask for it. It doesn't just come to you. With that, we'll end the story. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll meet again very soon. Until then, do take care of yourselves. Cheerio.